Hey, so no headphones. Uh, yeah, let's just get into it. This one, I don't know what this is gonna be. Honestly, I feel like let me see if I can check. The audio quality is what it is. I'm using my laptop, webcam, and mic, and there's only a little bit of distance. Did this just buffer? Excuse me. Maybe it's Mercury retrograde. Anyway, I just saw it like I don't know how much of this is going to be up. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this up, honestly. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm not one to overly believe in like purpose or mission. Um, for me, like, I don't know. I don't view myself as like having this plan for what I was going to do with my life when I incarnated. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm here for anything. Well, I guess there's a difference between what I'm here for and why I came, right? What I'm here for, I don't know. Why I came. Anyway, long story short, I feel like I'm hitting this point where whatever it was for me to do, I've done it. Whatever it was for me to say, I've said it. And moving forward, it's a mixture between things playing out and like life sort of happening, you know? I'm not going to delete the videos on this channel because that doesn't resonate as like my journey. All of the stuff that felt like it was important for me to post and share is still there. And I'm not necessarily going anywhere. But I don't know. I feel like maybe within these past few days, maybe I feel like as I kind of settle on a direction for where I go next, and as I feel my life open before me or unfold before me, like, I don't know. Again, it just feels like the water known alchemy, archetypes, and tarot, and just like pull cards. I want to like, we'll do two. Why, like, what I came here for, and why I decided to. If I, I could see myself as like being like, yeah, like I want to incarnate. I want to live a life, you know? I could see myself being like that. All this other stuff, again, I don't know. I'm the type of person, like, I'll help people. Is that Magnum Opus? Magnum Opus at the bottom of the deck, whatever. Um, with separation at the cut. Hey, Holly. How are you doing? That's, wait. Nope, that doesn't really help. The laptop is like far enough. Yeah, I know, right? Well, here, technically, it's the next day. But yeah, two in the same day. Um, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I don't necessarily feel, and then there's the great work again, obligation, but Uh, let's just see. Let's see what the cards say. Ooh, okay. Saturn came out with the moon at the bottom of the deck. 2 and 7. 27 came out earlier today. 27 was the unseen. I need to write this down. Only 10, 20 there. Yeah, it's almost 2 here, I think. I need to put this. Okay. You know what? I'm going to cut the deck. And I'm going to take the top and bottoms of both sides. Left side is I don't know. This is one I might. We'll see if it stays up. But as of now, we'll just go for it. I really wish I had something to drink. I don't need alcohol, but this is something that I would love to drink alcohol for. It's fine. The left side is going to be. Right side is going to be I already don't have words. I want to say what is for me to do, what was for me to do, what is for me to do, quote unquote. And then the right side is going to be why I came. What I quote unquote have to do and what I want to do. Matthew, you crossed my mind earlier. Wait, aren't you a Leo? Oh my gosh, Leo season is already over. And I have his birthdays. I haven't talked to her in a minute, but I sent her a gift card because she started it. I don't need to do what I want to do. The androgen, what? Number 62, Rebus. That is hilarious. Yours was these glasses do not help. 6, that's either a 6 or an 8. With leucosis, lightning, 13 at the bottom of the deck. This is what I needed to do, quote unquote. This is interesting. I'm gonna read this one first. I don't know if I've ever actually gotten. I feel like I have seen this card. I don't know if I've gotten it. What's that? 45. Here we go. 56, 56, 61, 64, 63, 62. Ravis. This is creative transcendence, multiplicity, and the artist. The androgen is a deeply revered image in alchemy. Born of Hermes and Aphrodite, Hermaphroditos has been classically depicted as a balanced union of divine masculine and divine feminine. Yet today's alchemist knows the androgen is far more nuanced than that. It encompasses the infinite spectrum and reveals itself in ever-changing, non-binary forms. The divine hermaphrodite defies definition as it is a deeply personal, felt experience. Accessing this fluid and enlightened state requires us to slip into the contradictory realm of the senses. Breath by breath, we are drawn into our limbs, our fluids, our orifices, organs, and cells. We let go of rules and labels. Judgment is suspended. The gods are present, as are the creative mysteries of the underworld. For a brief moment, we hold all of our complexities in one loving form. Like a newborn, we know not our name, gender, age, or location. We are the embodied artist, embraced unconditionally by sun and moon. That's what the card said. I ain't sound. Let me stop. With leucosis at the bottom of the deck. What is leucosis? This is perfectionism, facade, and hesitation. The stage of leucosis is a complex topic in alchemy. On the one hand, it represents purification of the materials. On the other hand, it's the phase in which the alchemist may mistake the work as complete. Read me. I was like, yeah, I feel like I've really done what I needed to do. You know what I mean? Cartha, you ain't dang. On the one hand, it represents purification of the materials. On the other hand, it's the phase in which the alchemist may mistake the work as complete. On the surface, everything seems perfect, pristine, well thought through, and quite complete. In actuality, the alchemists have been tricked by their own facade of perfection. The work has hardly begun. Righteousness and fear are the great errors of leucosis. The card arrives to remind us to get our hands dirty. No one is separate from or above anyone else. Rather, every alchemist is a kid in the laboratory, tinkering away with the elements of their life. No more fretting over your next move, fearing how others will receive you. It's time to crack open, become who you are. The world needs your true colors. What's interesting about this is, though, from a luminary perspective, in pigment, white is the absence, but in light, white is a sort of totality. So, in essence, if we are, this is more like a self reading. So I'll say okay. If I am almost like multifaceted enough, if I am represented by many colors of the rainbow and not just a handful, the more present I am wholly, totally, completely, like the divine or like the androgen suggests, closer to white it'll look. Because again, in light, in luminosity, and if this is for me, if this is like what is for me to do, then in luminosity, that's what it would look like. You know, I wish I could see. This is like a little farther than usual. No problem. Of course. I don't know why you came to mind today. You popped into my mind. And now here you are. Are we gonna yeah, let's do it. Let's get archetypes on this side. I had a dream. I've had dreams before. Good night. I've had dreams before where the crone and the judge at the I've had dreams before where it's almost like it's not that my life is split between one part and another, but I've had like the first time I remember this dream, I had found something that I needed. And when I found it, I found my way to a space where everyone had found whatever. And it was time for that space to like close off, or there was something else that was going to begin. And at that time, at that point in my life, the crone in the riddle with the flame. At that point in my life, I was like, no, like I don't want to go yet because what about the people out there? It was a specific person, but still. And so it closed without me. And then I had a dream years later that I was in that place and I had like traveled back in time. And then one day I had a dream. It was one of those, I don't know what to call it, but it was a dream where I like woke up in my bedroom, but I was still dreaming. And there was someone there. And it took me by surprise because I didn't expect, and maybe it's because of when I first had the dream, where I was personally in my life, in my journey, more so in my journey, like in my life, like what was happening in my life. Um, but with where I was, and I kind of, I guess, thought I had to find everything. I thought that I had to find everything before I move on to this other phase of my life. But when I had that dream where I like woke up and like I had family, like there are still like other things, there are more things, of course, that were on the other side. And I guess I didn't expect to see anything there. And it's interesting. I had a dream. I was told I briefly told Rob about it. Um, like I was in my bed, and then there was like this knocking on my chest, kind of like on my heart, but like not really, but like on my chest. Like someone was like pushing on my chest and like trying to wake me up. And I was like, yeah, like I'm waking up, and I like trying to open my eyes, but I couldn't. So I fought to like wake up and open my eyes. And of course, like nobody was there in real life. Excuse me. But the last time I've had, like the last time I woke up in the bed that I was sleeping in and I was still dreaming, it was like I had a brother. It was like my brother and my mom were there. Like I had family on the other side. And it surprised me. And it made me feel, I don't know. And I'm at this point in my life that I've talked about before on here. Um, and it's like, oh, is that the shadow? Oh my gosh. That's the shadow. I'll take a picture of it because I don't feel like getting up. Um, oh, it's already like zoomed in all the way. And I got a crappy. I got a crappy. And so today, it felt like this, there's this symbol on this. So there's a company that increase the resolution does like safety shoes, and their logo looks like the shadow from the shadow card, the shadow in the box. Like that's the logo, and that's why I was like, is that the shadow? Because that's basically what it looked like. But anyway, there were like people who were waiting for me on the other side. Things, experiences. And again, like it makes sense. But for some reason, I was somewhere so convinced that I had to find a lot of stuff before I enter the next sort of phase chapter of my life. And it's like that time is like here and now. And I just feel like so many things are changing and about to change. And for what I feel like I need to do in this phase of my life, like I've done it. And like life doesn't stop. I don't know what's going to happen next. And it's not that there isn't going to be anything to do, but for, I feel like it's done. Anyway, let's get one of these here. Or two. Oh, oh. Interesting. Bottom of the deck is the warrior. Oh, the warrior 10. I say that because the sword is also here. Is this number 62? This is also 62. 62, 62. The androgen and the sword. Night and day, sun and moon. And both. Whoa. The warrior is 10. And the coast is 13. Anima Mundi came out, number 78. Anima Mundi and the sword. I'm trying to figure out like which way is up. I think it's this way. Anima Mundi and the sword came out with warrior at the bottom of the deck. Anima Mundi, the androgen. Somebody like really want to inflate my ego somewhere. Who's behind the warrior? The siren. Number 18. And then the womb is behind the siren. Oh, and this is interesting. I was literally just thinking about that. I know I told Reem about it. I told a handful of people about it. Because I told her about it, and then she pulled some cards for me. And then the warrior came out, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, literally just thinking before I went live. Because maybe it was in the Taurus reading, I don't remember. Anyway, she did a reading, I think it was a Taurus reading, her most recent one, that talked about, I forget how long, year cycle. And I remember I had a dream at some point that like something started when I was 11. And then from 11 to like now is how many years that cycle has been for me. And I'm like, whoa. And the skull is important. I don't think I mentioned it, but this is like a personal synchronicity. Oh, girl. There was this whole potential pathway that really made itself known about a year ago, I think. Was it? Yeah. It was a little more than a year ago. It was the end of June, I think, 2023. I'm pretty sure it was the end of June because I didn't do July and then I was working from August. And I was literally just thinking about it before I went live. I've been thinking about it for the past few days, kind of. And it was one of those things that has the potential to like really changed things for me. And I was like, ooh, don't know about that. But the warrior, I'm like, okay, whatever. It's also interesting. I did in the SKT Vitruvian Edition book maps. There are spreads, and then there's a like an Akashic record spread, and I did that one. It took hours, hours. But the sword, I wonder if I can read that part. I don't. I don't need to. The sword was significant for me ancestrally, like in the ancestral part of the Akashic reading, Prince reading. And I guess now, for somehow I didn't piece it together before, but especially the sword and the warrior, like it has significance. Wow. And I just had a conversation with my dad a little bit. A lot of my suspicions were confirmed about stuff in the past a few months. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess I am old enough now to be a little braver. I don't even know the numbers 62 and 78. I'm just reading from the book. I love to read. I love to read. What did Matilda say? The sword, the knife, the blade, the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. Separation? I just saw separation, separatio. When I was shuffling the well known alchemy, did I mention it? Adam and separation fell out, but I just put them back. That was probably before I went live. The choice is made and all else falls away. I'll start from the beginning. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourself. We must make these cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. And then Anima Mundi, which is the last card, so it's easy. This is the soul of the world, all that is. Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful mess of shared consciousness. Anima Mundi is the link between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will always, no, you will awaken the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. That multiplicity, was that the androgen? I'm pretty sure it wasn't light. LX. II. Yeah. Creative transcendence, multiplicity, and the artist. So both of these mention multiplicity, the androgen and animality. It's funny how like the sword mentions separation, and then Anima Mundi is like, it's not about separation. It dissolves all separation. That's what it said. It dissolves all separation. I don't think I need to pull tarot on that. Now on the other side, top of the deck is Uranus. And the oil of vitriol, 35 and 8. 8 and 35. 358. 3 plus 5 equals 8. Oh, I guess the red and white rose and reddening are the bottoms of these two. I just looked at the red and white rose because I like this one. I felt like I had to look at the other one. I guess I didn't. This sounds accurate. Uranus is why I wanted to be here. Why I chose to incarnate. Like, just have an experience, you know? Like, let's have a good time. And then sometimes it's like, whoa, hold up. I know I said I was like open to whatever, but boundaries, limits. Okay? Like, I'll tell you what, we ain't gonna do. Almost dropped the book. Uranus. I was just thinking about my birth chart before I started this. I thought I had a cardinal square. For some reason, I was thinking of my cardinal square. I don't. I mean, I have a planet in all the cardinal placements, but my Venus and Jupiter are like mid sign. My Mars is early in Cancer, and then my Saturn in Aquarius is like late. So if Saturn in a like if I averaged Mars in Cancer and not Aquarius, wait, no, it's 20 degrees. My Uranus and Neptune are conjunct at 20 degrees of Capricorn. 29 divided by 2, math. That's what breaks it. That's why I don't have like, that's what breaks the square. And then I have a fixed cross between, excuse me, what, my moon in Taurus opposing Pluto and Scorpio. And then I have Chiron in Leo. And my Saturn is in Aquarius. Anyway, I got squares and trines all up and sextiles. I got it anyway. I was thinking of Uranus because I did the same thing. I was like, I went from Mars and Cancer to Saturn and Aquarius. And I'm like, wait, that's no, we got to go to Capricorn anyway. Uranus, awakening brilliance and individualism. High key on the individualism. When Uranus strikes, we are in for a surprise, not in the outer world, but in ourselves. What wasn't possible before is possible now, thanks to Uranus and its ability to shatter our perceptions, our preconceptions. This shift in perspective or identity brings newfound freedom and opens up dormant energy. For an alchemist, this may be experienced as a long awaited or a stroke of genius. Inventions and innovations are born under Uranus energy. This card may also appear to show us what is particularly unique about ourselves or another. A seemingly random or idiosyncratic quality may end up being the secret ingredient needed in the laboratory. The alchemist knows this radical energy isn't sustainable, and so the work is to show up each day, whether or not Uranus strikes. I could get down with innovation. That's kind of like, so I've decided that I'm going to go back to school to get my master's, and then I'm making my PhD after that. And when I was a kid, I had a friend who's a Virgo. Happy early birthday. Um, we talked about things that we would invent or whatever. And I always thought I would go to one school that I didn't end up going to for my undergrad. But now I'm going to be going there for yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So I did end up going there eventually, or I will have ended up going there eventually. Um, Circumstances have aligned in a way where, like, life has, as life has been lifing, and I've been riding the waves as I've been riding them, and the cost would be mostly covered, partly because of the company that I worked for, and partly because of the situation that I'm in. And so a lot of people actually going back to school. And I was toying with the idea before. I was thinking about it before. I even had dreams like what, a year ago, 2 years ago, about going to grad school. And I was like, I think I want to do it. And I want to make a pivot and shift in my career. And I could work at it. But again, like, I was just like, if I have this opportunity now, it doesn't make sense to not take it, or to at least not try. So like that innovation and invention, like, because like that's what I, and doesn't Uranus rule Aquarius rule technology? So like that definitely sounds like me. Sounds like something that I'd want. Sounds like what I do want, actually. Now this oil of vitriol, what's this about? Acidity, resentment, and purification. It's interesting because Lucosis mentioned purification or self delusion. When the green lion appears, a great alchemical reckoning is afoot. With this, a great alchemical reckoning under Uranus, that's interesting. Long standing frustration and imbalance cause this regal creature to lash out unconsciously, consuming all in its path. Be prepared for emotional turmoil as the lion thrashes about. Don't worry, these changes are necessary for growth, and in the end will be a relief to all. Purification is the lion's aim, and it's determined to get there one way or another. When this card appears, the question must be asked: am I the green lion or the sun? The one consuming or the one being consumed? It is said that finding oneself in the mouth of the lion is a necessary moment on any spiritual path. As the discomfort passes, the sun's beams shine all the brighter. So I guess that's supposed to be the sun. My The relationship between the sun and Uranus in my birth chart is non-existent. It's a very, 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 very loose sextile between, but so it's a loose sextile between my sun in Pisces and my Uranus in Taurus, but my Mercury more tightly sextiles that Uranus Neptune conjunction. I feel like that purification, I feel like that's the thing that kind of drives me sometimes. That's the thing that drives me, even though I don't view whatever as like part of my purpose. And I feel like, I don't know, it's because I feel like it's almost like, let's say you are hiring for whatever, right? And like you're hiring a chef, and for some reason, it's like the equipment in the kitchen like shorts out or whatever. And the chef that you hire also has experience as an electrician. So while you hire the chef to be a chef, you kind of also want them to make sure that the grid in the kitchen is good so that the equipment stays powered. And you just kind of sort of like know that they'll get irritated enough at the stuff constantly shutting down where they're trying to cook that they're going to fix it. Or that they'll say something about it. Like, I feel like that's probably, if I had to say, closer. Like, yeah, I just want to like have a good time. I want to live life. I want to have experiences. And then as I'm down here trying to live life and have experiences, it's like sometimes like, oh my gosh, like what is happening? Does not fit my Piscean fantasy. So we're gonna kick into that Capricorn energy and we're gonna do some stuff. Okay. And then I'm gonna take a long Taurus nap. And then I'm gonna get back into my Piscean fantasy. This time, where the right actors are on their marks and everyone knows their lines. Yeah, that's what that feels like. Because I don't know, as much as it's because I care about people generally. So, like, I don't, even if I don't have to do whatever, it's like, yeah, like, shouldn't I? That's how I got suckered into doing a bunch of stuff. But I feel like ultimately, again, it's just like, I don't know. The ocean and the judge at the split. We just saw the judge at the cut with whatever that other card was. All right, let's get one of these here. I still didn't read the red and white rose, number 59. Hmm. LOL. I just mentioned this card. Oh my gosh. The bottom of the deck is the one. Number 30. The card that came out is number 27. The 2 and the 7. I just mentioned this card, the unseen. The unseen one. I'll read the unseen first. 27. The unseen, the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. Didn't one of these other ones mention? What was that, 62? like something else mentioned. I know when the warrior and the sword came out, I mentioned ancestors because of the personal synchronicity. I don't know if one of these other ones did or not. Wasn't one of these. I'm pretty sure it wasn't one of those. Maybe it was Anima Mundi. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it didn't. The unseen is just as it sounds. Excuse me. Y'all remember when like people would be like, "Is Patrick a spirit? Like, or is Rio Kirk a spirit guide?" Like, no, he's just some dude back at his parents' house doing the best he can. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, sense it, intuit it, and then doubt its existence, though it rallies our attention time and time again. The energy of the unseen may come in many forms: a compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision, or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications, as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near. The eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen. The sounds may seem as though they come from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. Ooh. And this is sitting right next to the Uranus of shattering perceptions. Bottom of the deck, the one. I'm not going to hold it up because it's in the thing. This is non duality, one love, unus mundus. Unus mundus, anima mundi. Our ability to experience this archetype firsthand is limited. It comes in brief and potent moments that we are left to savor for a lifetime. The one is both the unites all living beings and our capacity to sense this. This archetype eludes us most of our lives, appearing as a concept. Yet, when we are in the midst of its power, a solemn reverence falls across all land. We glimpse ourselves in the vastness of all consciousness, and are neither small nor large within that field. We are neither important nor unimportant. All reality fades away, and we are left with what is. The precious knowing that life is a gift. We are both the giver and the receiver of this fortune. So yeah, it sounds a lot like Anima Mundi. What am I doing? I don't know. Let's move on to the tarot. Let's clarify some stuff, shall we? I guess. Or let's see how this bridges these two. I'm gonna give this 3 shuffles. The Empress, the Nine of Cups at the front. Seven of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. That was 3. That was a 3rd. I'm gonna do that up card, bottom card, three in the middle. Yay! It was almost like 3 majors. Bottom of the deck is the Daughter of Swords, Page of Swords. So the top of the deck was the Nine of Swords. The bottom of the deck is another 9. No, it's 11. Strength. And then from the middle, we have the Hierophant, Justice, and the Daughter of Pentacles. This plus the sword on the table is 10 swords. Plus there's a sword in justice. So this was like the left side, strength was the right side. And then the Hierophant, Justice, and the Daughter of Pentacles is in between them, I guess. On the side of like what I quote unquote need to do, or the benefits of me being incarnated. To somebody somewhere at some point in time. And then on the right side of like what I wanted and slash like just want in general, you know, it's strength, which makes sense. And then going between them is the Hierophant, Justice, and this Daughter of Pentacles. Again, I feel like this is the kitchen with faulty electricity. This is the chef with the background in the chef who used to be an electrician. This is the process of fixing the wiring in the kitchen. I don't know what that was supposed to do. I never read this card. The one that I wanted to get for some reason, number 59, the red and white rose. This one I can pick up. Flaw Sapientum. Vital force, rising, awakening. In the laboratory, the merging of red and white is an exquisite moment. It means something is coming to life before the alchemist's eyes. The pristine white of the rose is not threatened by the blood red pigment. Their mixing does not make pink. Rather, each color remains vibrantly itself, expressing its message. Like the rod of Asclepius, representing health and vitality, the floss sapientum appears to signify the awakening of the physical as a gateway to the spiritual. Without the body, spiritual teachings remain conceptual, not yet integrated into the everyday. This card encourages the alchemist to honor the body as a temple each and every day, observing it, listening to it, mining it for information and guidance. At its height, this card signifies a mastery, a uniting of body to serve the soul's purpose, as seen in the like of dancers, athletes, and during the birth process. Cool. Um, Again, kind of sort of not anything that isn't already on the table. Um, Between what the one Anima Mundi, kind of the unseen, the androgen. What I did like about that is because Lucosis is here, but this is a white that's not threatened by the red because each pigment stands separately. What did it say? That's 60. The mixing does not make pink. Rather, each color remains vibrantly itself. So cool. Meaning Patrick is still going to be Patrick. I don't know where else I thought this was going. Let's just get like, so that was this. Let's get like what's next. You know what I mean? I had another idea of something I wanted to pull, but I already forgot what it was because it's getting late. But yeah, basically in that reading, it was basically like North Node and Sagittarius stuff. Um, and that would have been 2009. Was that 2019? Maybe. Was that 2019? Actually, it could have been. I'm gonna look and see. It could have been 2018. I'm gonna have to search. How do you have zero results? Oh, because I forgot to put the C in it. I searched Akashic, and I have Akashi Records reading. It was Thursday, January 23rd, 2020. I started it at 1:11 a.m. Probably about the time I started this video. Um, and I guess it's interesting because in Vedic astrology, or my Vedic chart right now, I am in the what was it, the K2 and Tardasha of my Rahu Mahadasha. Justice is here and justice is here. LOL. Is that literally the warrior? It's literally the warrior. So these are the cards that came out in that part. In this part, it was Justice, the Summon of Pentacles, and the Sun. But the Sun is a warrior. Oh well. And then the Oil of Vitriol mentioned, what, are you the lion or are you the sun or something like that? And it was this whole, sometimes if we never like um if we never know any differently, then all we know is what we know. And if we never think to like question what it is that we think we know, then we will continue to believe, right? And so that's why for me, I don't know, I'm super uh almost analytical about some stuff, I guess. Where I'm just like, if this is something that we're claiming as true, then how is this happening? And here's this thing that isn't this ancient secret whatever that we can observe like in real life every day that seems to violate these truths, quote unquote, supposedly. So like, what's the realty? You know? I'm like, because if that were the case, you know, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Let's pull one of these random from the left side. I'm just curious. Neptune, number 9, is on the left side, on the side of. Actually, it, I just thought about this dream the other day. I had a dream one time, and I don't think I put it in my journal. I had a dream one time that I was at my old church at night and there was something happening. Like there was a police lady and there was like this really tall, obviously not human looking thing that came into the office in the back. I was in the office. I think with my grandma, maybe not. And speaking of an electrician, um, in the dream, he was like Neptunian, or he was from Neptune in the dream. That's what he said in the dream. He was from Neptune. And he was like, "You're all like, what?" And there was an air conditioner in the dream. There was an AC, and the AC was broken. It had frosted over. And he was like, when ice is over, this is what you have to do to thaw it so that the air can blow again. And I think there came a point where like he was gonna leave, and I was like, if you're leaving and we're the same, then I'm gonna go with you. And the police lady was like, no, like, don't listen to him. He's lying. She didn't want me to go. And I didn't end up going in the dream. There was another dream. That was another one where I didn't end up doing whatever because somebody needed me. Or so I thought. I really wish I could remember. I don't know if it was necessarily significant or important, but there was something about the AC being broken. Like it had iced over, and because it iced over, the air was going like stagnant. It was like hot and still. Let's see. I think I might have recorded that one actually. That would be in the dreams. I recorded 162 dreams. Put Neptune. Will it pop up? It is here. I had that dream Friday, July 23rd. Well, I logged it Friday, July 23rd, 2021. Three supermoons, and one of them was red. He was talking about the medicine of hot air, the medicine of cold air, and how to prevent ice buildup. Okay, I'll just read it. So, had a dream about a really, really tall dude fixing the air con. Three supermoons. One was really red, and the guy was Neptunian. One of the supermoons was Cancer? Question mark. I was basically still asleep when I typed that. LOL. I typed that. I guess because I knew I was going to read it. He was also talking about the medicine of hot air, the medicine of cold air, and how to prevent ice buildup. I don't remember those as much though. Then by the end of the second dream, I typed that after the first and went to sleep to the same dream. So I woke up and then I went to sleep. Like the first part of the dream was just him explaining the aircon to me. The second, like, and then I went back to sleep. And here's the second part. Um, so it came out that I was Neptunian as well. I think he was passing the information on to me. And it seemed that maybe he was going to take me back to Neptune with him or something. But someone else tried to prevent my leaving and tried to make me doubt and question him. I didn't care about all the politics at the end of the dream, but it was interesting. So I guess I didn't put anything about how there were like people outside of the church at night and something was going on. And then the police officer lady came in and she was like, you can't trust him because of blah, 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 whatever. And like, she didn't want me to go. I don't know. What was Neptune 11? I don't even remember why I was thinking about that dream earlier. Oh, it was not 11, it was 9. Neptune, divinity, mysticism, and seeking. Because why not? Neptune is the mystic's planet. Its transcendent energy projects toward the heavens. When the Neptune card appears, the seeker archetype is activated and doorways to new dimensions open. A voice whispers from beyond the earthly plane, the unseen, cough, 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 perhaps calling you to a pilgrimage or a new spiritual practice. Or you may experience a meditative bliss beyond your wildest dreams. Divinity has arrived, whether you call it nirvana, samadhi, enlightenment, or just good old serenity. Amidst your spiritual awakening, remember that ultimately the work is not about you. The work is about what's bigger than you. Stay grounded in that reality, and you're likely to avoid Neptune's pitfalls of narcissism and escapism. History shows us examples of spirituality turned madness. So keep your woo woo tendencies in balance with a little selfless service. That was the bonus card from the side that gave us the androgen and leucosis. Cool. I want to do 3, 2, 1. What's next? 3 tarot, 2 archetypes, 1 alchemy. Empress and the Mother of Pentacles. Empress and Pre-Empress energy. Ethic. That's also the Raymond Bunny card. Bun buns. Ooh, the Empress, and then look at the little butterfly in the 6 of Wands. We'll do 3, 2, 1. The 4 of Wands. Like, what's next? I guess. Okay. This is how you shuffle if you want to get cards to fly out. Strength. The 2 of Pentacles like flew all the way to the top of this, to the top of the table. And then the Father of Cups. Almost at the Father of Swans. So there's 4 cards. Bottom of the deck is the 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pennies. 4 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, Strength, and the Father of Cups. I almost kept this book just in case. I feel like this is such an interesting contrast to the Oil of Vitriol. What, the green lion trying to eat the sun? Now here's the Slam with the sun's its third eye. The 2 of Pentacles. The 2 of Pentacles in this deck is interesting because they're on the wings of a butterfly. Again, there's that butterfly. Strength and the Father of Cups. I guess I'll show them. I feel like this has been an interesting year. Um, and I guess it technically started December of 23. Like December, January, February. No, December, January. More than February. When I was in London and when I was in India, I had the benefit of being in another country with people. I'm like, there are sometimes I go somewhere and I'm like, these people are never going to see me again. So if I want to indulge in a moment of authenticity and dance in this Walmart, these people are never going to see me again. Like, I can do it. Uh, and that's what kind of happened. And I feel like it wasn't my first time being somewhere where nobody knew me, but the threshold of like inhibition was so low. And I don't know why I'm talking about this here. I was kind of thinking about this earlier today on the way out of Walmart. Um, because I think I was, yeah, that because I was thinking about kind of sort of feeling into the unfolding of my life moving forward. And I guess 30 for me was that age where I was like, you know what? Who cares? And I don't really care what people think about me, but also at the same time, I feel like it's less of like what people think about me and more the prospect of like having to engage with people sometimes. It's like, do you ever want to do something but not necessarily have a conversation about it? You know, like I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to have a conversation. I'm here to do me, be me, feel me, and just enjoy my own company right now. And it's too many people trying to interrupt the conversation that they're not a part of. This is between me and myself. I feel like it's more like that. But yeah, this year was just like 30 was the age. I remember what it was specifically. I had a thought, I had a question. And I was like, you know what? I guess 30 is going to be the age for me where I'm like, so there are videos, probably. I know that there are definitely pictures, probably videos of me like dancing in someone's like phone or a Google shared album that will never. I'm weird. There is a part of me that takes some kind of sick pleasure out of knowing that there are images of me like dancing out there in the world that will never see the light of day. That will be posted by me on my social media. Like my mom showed me, I think it was a video that she took. Um, she was like, "Look, I got you on video dancing." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But in moments, in times, like, and it's easier for me depending on like who I'm with. Like, if I'm with somebody, if I'm with the right person, I don't care who is there. But it's like it's a part of who I am authentically. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because the father of Peps is here. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I've reached that point. What's next? The Four Swords, the Two of Pentacles. It feels like almost like change for change. It's like what for what? Quid pro quo, I guess. Like sometimes change comes at a cost. It comes at a price. But the price is more like if we want something to change, sometimes we have to change. How change is connected to, tied to other changes more often than not. Strength of the Father of Cups. Maybe that's that. Maybe that's what I talked about it. The strength to be like, dance. Walmart is my safe place. You'll catch me in a random aisle of Walmart when the music on the radio in the store is whatever. I'm like, it's Walmart. Well, Walmart is a safe place. You see all kinds of people in Walmart, okay? And today I'm gonna be one of them. I have found my people, the people of Walmart. All right, let's get two of these archetypes. Oh, the mentor. Gross. Number 6. How did that happen? I felt this card hit my knee, but land on the table under the mentor. The mentor landed like this on its side, and it landed in between the Four of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. Like it's flying from that Two of Pentacles to Strength and the Father of Cups. The Starborn is the other card that came out. 6 and 3. The Mentor and the Starborn. Interesting. Can we get some flavor text? What's the taglines? It's 2 archetypes of self, which is interesting. The mentor is the teacher, the sage, and the guru, the starborn, the divine child, the star child, and the destined. Lots of like divinity, lots of destiny things today. And then one alchemy. I feel like with the mentor, it's almost about what it protects. Like you could say a teacher is a protector of the dreams of children. A good teacher is a protector of the dreams of children. Right? And the starborn is here. Are these my dreams having been protected? While I was in the past phase of blood and the benevolent guide with the mentor. LOL. But I'm saying a good teacher is a protector of dreams. A good mentor will help you get there. I don't know what this part is. Oh gosh, it flipped back over. Sanguine Quicksilver. Blood and Quicksilver. Argentum Vivum, the Silver of Life. Bottom of the deck is Against Nature, Contra Naturam. We've seen this card recently. Let's see. What is this? I guess this is me. I feel like my work is done. I feel like for what the cards came out as, what I need to do, I feel like I've done it. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. Well, yeah. And it aligns with a lot of what I communicate of my own beliefs. So, as far as like the alignment of the physical and spiritual, and we don't have to completely disregard the physical in favor of the spiritual. We don't have to. No one said that if we like apples, we can't like oranges too, because that's weird. There's a lot of people that like both apples and oranges, and you know, it's like who said you had to choose? Sometimes 24 and 20, 24, 37. 37 Sanguis. I just saw 35. The pulse, physicality, and the body. Have no fear of the blood card. It indicates a remembrance of the vital mammalian nature of our existence. Excuse me. Drop by drop, this sacred elixir reminds us that we are alive, not merely thinking beings, but being beings. When blood is the prima materia in the laboratory, the alchemist uses the physical body as the starting point, building a relationship to the container that houses the spirit. Through the limbs, the organs, the cells, we witness the miracle of life, one heartbeat at a time. Eventually, the alchemist naturally partakes in practices that support and nourish blood's life giving nature. We learn to honor and protect it. In alchemy, red is the color of vitality and radiance. With this card, you've dropped into the vital realm. Sing the body's praises. We just saw that red in the red and white rose. Yeah, that's accurate. I'm back in the gym, like I said earlier, working on my fitness. I think I'm good. I noticed that had to be 22. Yeah, because I didn't see Kirsty the last time I went. Um, so I think it was the time before last. I ended up getting COVID in 2022 from a coworker who got it for like her third time. She had moved and then she came back to help us close out. She ended up getting COVID when she came back, gave it to our boss, who then gave it to me. And I was like, what? Really? I made it this whole time. But anyway, after that, I tried to swim and I could not. And I was telling Kirsty about it. That's what I was like after I got COVID, I could not. So for the past year and some change, I've been working on. That's why I've been doing like the treadmill so much, trying to like build back a cardio baseline, and I've been able to do it. Now it's time to get off the treadmill, and I'm like, oof. But anyway, that's what is coming up next. Yeah, actually acting out on my health fantasies of like cooking and stuff, and not just buying a bunch of groceries, that I have to end up giving to like my mom or my grandma because they're about to go bad and I didn't use them because still eating fast food. Some things are going to be changing. Slippery mobile mercury. Part liquid and part metal, quicksilver, also known as mercury, is a mesmerizing material. Its gift is to slip between worlds. Neptune. I was like, who just talked about this? Neptune talked about being between worlds. It cannot be pinned down or easily defined. Mercury came to symbolize the god Hermes and the great hermetic secrets of alchemy, always sliding away into secrecy just beyond the alchemist's grasp. It is said Mercury represents the transition between the physical and the unseen worlds, between life and death, between science and the esoteric. It is the metal of sacred thresholds. Shamanic practitioners of every tradition must acquire the ability to stand at the doorway between worlds. This is no small feat. The Mercury card indicates the querent has a particular gift for such a task. This is the work of the shaman. Teacher with the mentor. It's literally on the mentor. Oh my gosh. Literally. Let me stop. The teacher, the shaman, the sage, artist. The artist, that was the androgen, wasn't it? 62? That's 42. I didn't even catch that. 62, the androgen is the artist. I didn't, because the magnum opus kept coming out, which is the great work, when I was like shuffling or whatever. But then the artist came out, and the artist is the one who like does the work. You know what I mean? It's the artist's magnum opus, and it's interesting that it came out as the artist archetype more so than the alchemist archetype, since this is about alchemy. Anyway, uh, heed the call of Quicksilver. The sacred threshold requires your attention. This is such an interesting card to come out next to the blood of the body, though, isn't it? is it? Do, do, do. And then there's against nature at the bottom of the deck. This reminds me of the mystic. One of these mentioned the mystic. It was Neptune. Neptune mentioned the mystic. It reminds me of the reading where the shaman was in reverse, but the mystic was upright. Because there was something that defied the laws of nature as we know them, but it wasn't outside the realm of possibility. So it's almost like Contra Naturum is almost giving me more so that energy. Sure. LVI number 56 at the bottom of the deck. We've just seen this card recently. Willfulness to force or control. Full of willfulness. Very much so willfulness. On some level, we all know when we are going against nature. We recognize it in feelings of impatience and agitation that arise when trying to force certain outcomes. The Contra Naturum card arrives to remind the alchemists they cannot control the uncontrollable. Nature has its way, enveloping us in a wild narrative that we can collaborate in, but not dictate. No matter our efforts to manage every aspect of our lives, the mess ensues. Spring is soggy, the lotus requires mud, people do what they do. Big on people do what they do. This card heeds a warning not to fight the flow of Mother Nature or of destiny. Once we loosen the grip of what we think life should look like, a whole new realm of possibilities awakens. Now is the time to be radically open to what nature has in store for you. I don't know if I'd say radically open, but I'm definitely open. I am the most open I have ever been in my life. I'm like trying to think if that's a good thing or if that's sad. I'm kidding. Um, that's interesting. And it's also interesting how it was like, it's funny how with the great work, it was communicated as like from the perspective of an artist rather than the alchemist. So maybe the alchemist shouldn't go against nature in whatever way. But it doesn't mean that the artist can't play, especially with Quicksilver here. To dance between worlds and realms. Cool. I don't know. What was the archetype at the bottom of the deck? This is the only deck I don't have sort of. Oh, I guess now let's go the other way. The healer is at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. The healer and the creator at the cut. That would be a departure. You know, I'm creative, but my birth cards are the Tower and the Chariot, okay? All right, let's go back up. I'll pull one card, and it will be this one. The Poet. See, told you it was about the artist. With the thread at the bottom of the deck. I feel like the Poet is like. There's a certain. It's almost giving me like improv. There's a certain fluidity and flexibility to the Poet. Like the Poet doesn't stress about what is or isn't happening. It just continues on in its poetic flow. I should write more not necessarily poetry. I don't remember. It could have been you, Holly. It was somebody. They were like, "You should write poetry," and I was like, "There is a part of me that loves to write. I like never do it though. I don't know if I even necessarily have the patience for it." Pre-Empress, Mother of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Swords. Woof. I remember when the Ten of Swords used to be one of my favorite cards because most of my life was a dance between the Eight and the Nine of Swords. And so at least the 10 it ended. And then we could move forward. Right? Cool. This part, honestly, the tarot of this, it doesn't necessarily perplex me the most. Maybe it like speaks to me the least. Well, actually, it doesn't. Within the context of the alchemy, it makes sense. I really wish what I remember, like the probably the week after I had that dream, especially that day, I was like, I wish I could remember what he said when it came to the medicine of like hot air and cold. It was that part about how to prevent the ice from building up that I just could not remember. Because if the ice built up, then you're not getting hot air or cold air if it freezes over. I don't know. Look at final cards. I feel like this is a position I've kind of sort of like been putting myself in though for the past. Maybe that's why too. Especially for the past, it comes in waves. Every now and then I'll be like, you know what, I'm ready, and then something will happen, and I'm like, maybe not. You know. But again, I don't know. I feel like everything I'm obligated to do, at least for this point in phase of my life, is done. For the time leading up to now and what is to come shortly, I mean, how many times and how many ways can I say get in touch with the divine within you? Because the divine within you may be telling you to do one thing that's going to put you in a position to be able to navigate things differently. I don't know, but I'm also like I'm a little oddball weirdo, you know. There is no, I don't know. I feel like I don't necessarily find a lot of. I haven't come across a lot of people that operate the same way that I do. And so maybe it's just because I haven't been able to find a one for one that I encourage others to like. If it resonates, obviously do it, but to continue to have that sort of relationship with the self. That's where the divine lives. There's always been something, at least a little bit, not for me, we'll say. Let's see. I'm gonna pull one card for a pre-incarnated Patrick. And it's gonna be an alchemy. Well, I'm gonna pull the top of those. So one of these pre-incarnated Patrick got number 50, Mystical Sister. Soror Mystica. If I see the word mystic one more time. Pre-incarnated Patrick was the moth drawn to the flame of a life on earth. With the siren, yeah, the siren and the two of swords at the top of these. Pre-incarnated Patrick. Sacred ally, anima, and outreach. Just when you thought you could traverse the alchemical path by yourself, Soror Mystica appears. This card indicates a dear friend or sacred ally holds you in their heart at this very moment. With their support, you are able to do what you cannot do yourself. Between you exists an alchemical pact based on the ingredients of respect, honesty, and unconditional love. It's as if you've known each other for many lifetimes. You may have shared an experience from which you are always bonded. This archetype may come in any gender, age, or form. One distinct characteristic of Soror Mystica is that they practice the art of witnessing and listening. They have no need to judge, fix, or give advice. Presence is enough when this card appears. Presence is enough. When this card appears, tend to the flame of friendship. Be a mystical sister to another. So, pre-incarnated Patrick was the spirit guide. I'm kidding. Is Rio a spirit guide? Is Pam? It was this hot moment where everywhere I went, people were like, "Is that a spirit guide?" I'm like, "No, I'm typing. I'm leaving comments. I see someone in the comments section. I think it's one of your guides." All right, final cards. Ooh, summer. Ace this. Bottom of the deck is a red and white rose. I'm getting hungry. Ooh, it's 3:07. Excuse me. Did I read Summer last time? Or did I just look at it? I don't think I read it. Summer's number 18. We saw number 18 on the archetypes. I mean, it didn't, we saw it. What is it? Oh, the siren. It literally just came out. It's literally right here. Oh my gosh. 18. I was watching, I think it's America's Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader Netflix docuseries thing. And she said there was someone, one of the people, I think she lost one of her pets. And she planted 18 flowers. And she was like, in Jewish Kabbalah, 18 is associated with life or something like that. And I was like, what? Because I had never known that her husband is Jewish. I was like, 18 is associated with life? What? I guess it's the summer card in this deck. 18 Kabbalah. How do you spell Kabbalah? I did not spell it right. In Jewish Kabbalah, the number 18 has special significance. Okay. Corresponds to the Hebrew word chai. I'm probably mispronouncing it, which means life. Wow, yep, there you go. Can represent balance, good fortune, and luck. It's also synonymous with Mazel Tov when writing a check for a Jewish something. Because of its significance, Jews often give gifts of money in multiples of 18 at weddings, bar mitzvahs, and when making honorary donations. Multiples of 18, 18, 36. Are multiples of eight? I probably, because 18 is two nines. So whether you have two nines, four nines, six nines, it's always gonna the magic of nine, at least under uh I mean that's how I learned nine in the multiplication tables. It always adds up to nine numerologically. Nine times one, two, three, four, five is 11105. 11105. That's four ones and a five. Four plus five is nine. Multiples of 18 are multiples of nine, so it always adds up to nine. Cool. Anyway. Oh, I didn't even read it. 18, Aestus, fullness, vitality, and sensuality. There's that vitality again. Lots of vitality. Excuse me. To experience summer is to be embodied. To be embodied. The summer air kisses every crevice of our body, opening us up in ways long forgotten. Lust, desire, laughter, sweat, physicality. These are all expressions of summer's fullness shining through. When this card appears, know that the senses are heightened and the work is nearing full expression. It may feel as though things are electrified. Speaking of the electrician, what? Or about to burst. Keep in mind that, like all the alchemical seasons, summer will soon pass. For now, everything in your narrative is fleshed out, quote unquote. And the story has just another chapter or two until it begins again. So revel in this time of ripening and rhythm. Celebrate, gather, connect. Whether the season is literal or metaphorical, let yourself be swept into the pulse, these hot and what? Swept into the pulse of these hot and heavy nights. Listen, mind your business. I'm kidding. What was at the bottom of the deck? Oh yeah, the red and white rose. I forgot. The red and white rose also mentioned vitality. I'm pretty sure, just like sanguis, blood mentioned vitality. Lots of vitality. Cool. One down, two to go. I guess I'll leave this up. Why not? You have the empty room with the prayer at the cut. The shaman and the prayer. Where's that shaman? It's up when I went through the stack. So when I was using it, at some point turned face up and I didn't even notice because it wasn't the final card. Cool. Who was that? The thread and the medallion. 59 and 70. We just saw the thread. The thread was at the bottom of the deck. Was it the artist that came out? Not the artist, the creator. I don't remember. I just saw it. But I saw number 59 and the alchemy. What was that? That's 45, 53. And some of the red and white rose. I was like, this number 59, we've seen it in the alchemy. And here it is again. At the bottom of the deck. LIX, LIX, licks. You see? Oh my gosh, the synchronicity is crazy. I don't know. I just feel like I'm also at this point in my life where I'm really speaking of like all of this vitality and the strength of the Father of Cups that came out. And I think that's why the age of 30, I feel like that's also why I was like, well, I guess 30 is going to be the age. Because for a while, I've been at this point of wanting to know what I'm capable of. and not wanting to hold anything back. And I've got enough Taurus in me. I'm slow enough that I felt like that for a long time before I was ready to do anything about it. But now I'm like ready to do something about it. Now the Mars in my chart is starting to like kick into gear. The Venus in my chart is like waking up. You know, they're a part of my cardinal. Do they? Yeah, it's a loose square between my Venus in Aries and my Mars in Cancer, and my Jupiter in Libra, and Uranus, Neptune, and Capricorn. I don't know why I'm rattling off my chart. Bottom of the deck is the Venom, number 63, which is the mirror of the 36. That is the second multiple of 18. Interesting. I feel like this is like, it's this part of me that at this moment in time is very like, it's not that I've run out of compassion and it's not that I've run out of sympathy. It's more so that it's like we all make choices and decisions in our lives. And I'm going to do my best to make choices and decisions that create a life that I want. And I hope that other people do too. Like, if this thread is a lifeline for whatever, unless someone is like close to me, I don't know. I feel like I reached the point where I'm not holding lifelines out anymore. You know, like that part of my life is over. um, and again, like it's not that I'm necessarily going to be cruel or uncaring or non-compassionate, but it's just like I'm not so quick to be compassionate or generous to the point of like self detriment. You know, we all have free will. And I wouldn't be honoring someone else's free will if I was to continuously try to be there to help them or save them or whatever. I can't save nobody, first of all. And like that's something that I've learned many lessons over the past few years, specifically in regards to kind of what I was saying about those dreams earlier of like stalling myself because like, oh well, what about this person or what about that person? Like even when it came to work and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But my coworkers would be like, oh, like don't go, we miss you, or if you weren't here, then blah blah blah. And like that would be enough to get me to seriously consider not leaving. And I've had enough coworkers who I felt some kind of obligation to where I might like sacrifice in my own life and then they just like up and leave. And I'm like, oh. So like people do it all the time. Why do I feel some kind of strange obligation to put my life on hold? You know what I mean? Or to put what I desire on hold. When as soon as this person gets the opportunity, they do the same thing. And it doesn't make anyone a bad person to take the opportunities that are presented to them in life, you know? And so I guess like that's sort of where I am. or like this part of my life I live for me. And of course, me living my life for me doesn't exclude everybody. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a karma eater. I'm not going to eat anybody's karma or whatever. Again, like I just, that part and phase of my life, it taught me what I needed, and showed, it highlighted and illuminated things within me that I needed to know were there when I was in that phase. But now I know that they're there. I don't need those lessons anymore. So, you know. And again, like we all have access to the divine. There is no one is going to necessarily miss anything because Patrick isn't there. If it's what's meant for us, will find us. And there will be another avenue, you know? Let's do the thread, number 70. Oh, look, I opened to the venom. The venom is the poison, the curse, the toxin. Much to our dismay, the venom is always lurking in the shadows in one form or another. Its toxic presence may be found in our relationships, thoughts, speech, or environment. Thankfully, the cycle of purification and detoxification comes so naturally that it is built into our every exhale. I didn't even catch that. Yeah, because a lot of like Patrick, like a lot, there was purification in leucosis, purification in, I think, the oil of vitrium, maybe. Like purification was on both sides. But again, maybe it's more so the fact that like how it can stunt our growth, how much character development we miss out on, you know. And I don't want to rob anyone of character development because I appreciate my own so much. You know what I mean? It's more like that. It's from the place of like I recognize that challenges and difficulties and setbacks, trials, tribulations, and failures has done so much in my life to make me who I am that I wouldn't want to rob someone else of the opportunity to experience the same in their life. I am the Pisces enabler. And so I'm switching from the Pisces enabler to the Pisces avoidant. I don't know if avoidant is the word, but I didn't even catch that the venom is there at the bottom of the deck when so many of the other cards were about purification. And I feel like again, it's not that there aren't necessarily things that I may see that I may and all of my grandeur, illusions of grandeur, and my overly inflated ego or whatever. It's not that there aren't things. It's not that I don't have opinions, but it's just like I no longer feel it so heavily my place to share my opinion and my thoughts and my own truth. At this point, I'm pretty much so heavy and like we walk our own paths, right? I think the thing for me is that like when it comes to large scale collective whatever that are just like accepted as true because this person said it and like everyone is saying it or whatever. Like it was so I don't know what that word is. There's a word that means something. Kismet. I've never. I may have heard the word kismet very, very, very infrequently in my life, but there was like a week where everybody on the internet was like kismet, and I'm like, what is happening? I guess kismet is hot in the collective right now because like literally like everybody, it was everywhere, and I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm probably still gonna have it, but I don't know. At this point, I feel like I don't know. You know. Hey, Kirsty, how art thou? I know, right? Back here again. I can't. I can like barely see. Oh wait. Ooh, that's exciting. Let me just see you too. I hope you enjoy your time. I'm talking to my friend. I sent him a text probably yesterday. I was like, "Am I not going to London this year?" With the crying emojis, and he was like, "What about Thanksgiving?" I'm like tentatively planning on heavy emphasis on tentative on the week of Thanksgiving. So anyway, it's so like I don't know. I feel like London has taken such a significant part of my heart that if I don't go at least once a year, I feel some type of way. When it's really bad, if I don't go at least once every 6 months, I'm like, oh my gosh, when is my next trip? Anyway, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I did have back to back trips this. I mean, I've pretty much recovered from that already, thankfully. Circumstances have a way of working out, and I don't have to stress about it. I'm in that of my life now where things have a way of working out as long as I don't push it. But there were definitely times when I had lessons to learn, and that was not the case. So that's the venom. I don't know. Q Patrick saying, I don't want to be a healer in this lifetime. Let the healers be healers. Let the people who want to be healers be qualified to heal. And let the people who can do it but don't want to do it not have to do it. You know what I mean? The thread, the path, the vein, the circuit. Life is a tangle. So much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread. A song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. And then the medallion number 59. Medallion. Went too far. The amulet, the talisman, the heirloom. Heirloom is such an interesting word. The passing on of sacred objects is an ancient ritual within families, between lovers, and in tribes across the globe. We gift jewels, treasures, keepsakes, and mementos of all kinds, some of great material value, others that hold emotional resonance, and still others with. Yet, when these gifts are bestowed upon us, it is important to recognize that they may bind us to an unspoken agreement or promise. When the medallion card appears, be aware of how the objects you hold dear may be embedded with unconscious energy or expectations. Materials hold consciousness, and it's time to reconcile the vibration of the objects around you. What do you covet and collect? Why? Is there an object you have held onto for years that you are ready to release? Perhaps it is time to reach for the medallion that aligns with your deepest values. And the bottom of the deck was the bed. I just remembered. I forgot for a second. I don't know. Like obligations don't. That don't work on me. If you have the opportunity, then shouldn't you like feel obliged to? No, I don't. I feel like I owe nothing to a world that owes nothing to me. But there's somebody out there that has that obligation. There's for every path there is a person with purpose. That is not my path. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I'm excited. I hope so. I don't know, like you and so many other people. I'm like, I don't know. It's just somehow life has conspired in a way that nearly yearly, on average, at least once a year since 2018, on average, because some years I've gone like twice. I've been there and I'm like, what about my UK peeps? Like, I haven't seen them. I was gonna like look for work over there, but for a while I was like, this is where I was at. I was at this point where I was like, I don't want to work in a lab again as a microbiologist, but if I have to do that to move to the UK, I would do it. And that's how I truly, genuinely felt until a few months ago, where this foot in the door opportunity didn't get me past the door. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to do something that I don't want to do just to be somewhere that I want to be. And so I would rather do something that I want to do being somewhere that I want to be. And so I can do something that I want to do now that will enable me to be able to do something that I want to do where I want to be then. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that it's impossible, but it would have been a harder sell. It's not as realistic, quote unquote, whatever. I'm a Pisces. Don't speak to me of what is realistic. Miracles happen every day. Someone has to win the lottery. Why not me? The odds don't matter if you're the one. Hello? But yeah, I don't know. It just really like, so we'll see. 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 All right. Final card from the Water Known Tarot. Ooh. It looked like the Ace of Wands or the Two of Wands. The High Priestess. It was the Two of Wands. And the Five of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. This Five of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck feels like Venom at the bottom of the deck. Almost. It's just like, I don't know. Eye on the future. Two of Wands. High Priestess. Crystal ball on the future. Focus on the future. Whatever this Five of Pentacles is. Under the Five of Pentacles is the Three of Swords. And the Hanged Man behind that. It's like, oof. Big, 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 big oof energy. I'm in my villain era. Oh, this is 2-2. I didn't even notice that. I'm more so like, I don't care if I'm the villain era. I'm in my taking care of me era. You know, the gone are the days of self-sacrifice. Not self-sacrifice. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things change on this channel. If things change on this channel. And I feel like sometimes, I don't know, there's just such a, I feel like sometimes if I'm reading a certain energy, it would almost be irresponsible of me to not mention any of the caveats that I also feel with that energy, right? Like if I'm doing a reading and it's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be this amazing energy, and I can feel that it's like, well, if you haven't done this or this or this other thing, then these are things that are like around that energy that may kind of sort of pull you away from it, like a whirlpool, like a vortex. Uh, because we all want the good stuff to resonate, and largely collectively, not the people who watch me specifically, but largely and collectively, if some random person was to come across one of my videos, it's like sometimes it's like if you haven't done the work, quote unquote, whatever the work is between you and your guides and the divine, whatever your work is, you may have a different experience. And I don't know, I don't always have to mention those things. I guess I am going to hide behind, not hide because I don't want it, that connotation, but like take it as it resonates as a real thing, you know? And I don't I don't know, I'm in a period of like, I want to explore and I don't want to take away from an energy just because whatever. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. There are some things that I need to make happen. I've just been so like procrastinating since I've been back. And I guess it's funny how I've been procrastinating certain things only for my path to change. But ironically, the one thing that remains constant is this resume. No matter what path I take, even if that path is continued education, still got to update my resume. And maybe that speaks to the work that need be done regardless. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like pull this closer now. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment. Oh gosh, that is not working. To make all that you wish to experience your reality, I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and what you find. This is like really close. And until next time, we'll see you later. I don't know. I feel like I'm in this point in life where it's like everything is gonna change. But also it's like, is it? Is I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. I'll catch y'all later. Bye.